It's Thursday, September 22nd, 2022, and this is FRC Media News. I'm Keith Tebow. This week, the Fall River City Council elects a new leader. Fall River remembers soldiers still missing in action, and the Greater Fall River Art Association turns 65 years old. All this and a lot more coming right up. At a special meeting held on Friday, the Fall River City Council selected Councilor Joseph Camara to serve as president for the remainder of 2022. Councilor Camara replaces Councilor Pam LaLiberte, who resigned as president last week as she faces charges of harassment and witness intimidation in a case involving a Westport couple. Councilor LaLiberte remains a member of the council. Councilor Camara was elected on a 5-4 vote over City Council Vice President Michelle Dion. After being sworn in, Councilor Camara pledged to move the body forward.
I have a lot of respect for each and every one of you. I think it's a noble position that you want to run for office of this city. It's a wonderful city, one that we know we all love. Being a city council, you have to ask yourself 4 questions. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? Can it get any better? Can it get any worse? And the answer to those questions are yes, 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 and yes. Sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse. Sometimes it could be better, sometimes it could be worse. What matters is how we act in between all of those.
Following the meeting, Councilor Camara says between now and the end of the year, there's still important work for the council to get done.
There's a lot of things we're talking about, how we spend the opera funding and how we put that money to good use. And it's going to continue fixing the infrastructure of our water mains that I've worked on for a long, long time is obviously still going to try to continue, and we're trying to provide as many services as possible, working with the administration to get this city, where it should be and where it is going. And we have done a lot of good things, and we're going to continue to do a lot of good things. I think it's a good council. It works together, and, unfortunately, this situation arose. None of the councilors had anything to do with anything other than one individual that did something that had to resign from the presidency and put us in this situation.
Councilor Camara says he looks forward to working with Mayor Paul Coogan.
I've worked well with Mayor Coogan since I've been elected. Prior to being elected, I don't have a problem. I think Mayor Coogan's doing a good job, and I've supported him a lot of initiatives that he's put forward, as have most of the councilors. So I work well with Mayor Coogan. I've always worked well with all mayors, until we had a situation with other mayors that, you just couldn't work with these people, and then you don't work with them. But other than that, I've had no problem working with Mayor Coogan, and he's making some good decisions in the right direction, and we've been supportive of Mayor Coogan.
Mayor Coogan says he too is looking forward to working with the new city council president.
Yeah, I've spoken with Joe a couple times since then. He was at the We Love Children breakfast the other day. I spoke briefly with him, and then I saw him yesterday in the office with the city administrator. We talked about a couple of things that might be coming their way, and tried to get the feel for the lay of the land. Joe was experienced. I think he'll do a nice job, and obviously I didn't have a vote in that one. It's the council deciding who's going to lead him, and obviously I wish him the best, and he'll keep Michelle Dion will continue on, and he won't keep her. She was voted in to be the vice president, and we'll see how it goes.
The city council will vote again at its first meeting in January to select a president and vice president for 2023. Fall River Public Schools are now well into its new year, but as the calendar turns into spring, another set of MCAS testing will take place. The State Department of Elementary and Secondary Education ruled last month that it will increase the scores required for students to graduate high school, beginning with the graduating class of 2026. Fall River Public Schools Superintendent Maria Ponce says the new standard will mean the district will need to place a sharper focus on student success.
As you know, it's not a secret, we struggle with MCAS as a city. We are a high-needs city, so we can't change that. What we can do is change our approach to it. Certainly, we're going to do everything we can in our power to continue to support our students. Our kids have to work really hard to meet the standard. The standard has been raised, and we're going to continue to work harder to meet that standard. We're not going to give up. That just tells us we have to work harder. It's it'll be a challenge, but we're going to do it.
Ms. Ponce went on to say that MCAS is a measurement of proficiency, but is not a focus of teachers in the classroom.
We're not teaching to the test, but we're teaching kids on how to take that test and how to embrace, if the multiple choice piece, the open response, now they're comparing text, etc. We're teaching kids how to approach and provide them with test-taking skills that they can apply, whether it's MCAS, whether it's any test at all. It's just good skills for our kids to have. But that's one indicator, and that's what I keep saying. That's one indicator. I know it's the indicator we get judged on and labeled, but that is one indicator, and really that indicator should validate all the work that we do, because it should support all the other indicators that we're looking at. So I want to make sure that, yes, it's an important indicator, but we have a whole bunch of other indicators that we're looking at.
State and local government officials were on hand yesterday at St. Anne's Hospital to extol the virtues of 3 farmers markets held in Fall River that also provide healthy fruits and vegetables to those receiving Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, benefits. Those on SNAP are also automatically enrolled in the Healthy Incentives Program, or HIP, where recipients can use their SNAP cards to purchase fruits and vegetables at these farmers markets and have their purchases not count against their monthly balance. Money spent at the markets is automatically replaced back onto their SNAP cards. The farmers markets in Fall River are a collaboration between Mass in Motion Fall River and the Southeastern Massachusetts Agricultural Partnership, or CMAP, that recruits local farmers to sell their wares.
The goal was to integrate local food directly into the neighborhoods of Fall River and allow underserved communities access to fresh, healthy local food through the SNAP program, the Healthy Incentives program, and the Farmers Market Nutrition program. This is a benefit to the local neighborhoods. They have easy walking access to local food, as well as to the farmers, who are always eager to be able to meet communities in need, but also need to make a real price for their product. So the Massachusetts has funded the Healthy Incentives program to help meet both of those goals.
HIP is also extended during the winter months, as SNAP recipients can order produce online and have it delivered to their homes. Fall River resident Diane says she has benefited greatly from the program.
I'm a frequent flyer with the farmers markets. I've been doing it for many, many years. So when HIP started, I was really excited because it gave me extra buying power to, supplement my income, my food stamps, and helped pay the bills, because if I didn't have to pay that $40 for groceries this month, I had extra money for other things that came up. And, there's always an emergency that pops up. So, the food is fresh, it's flavorful, it lasts so much longer than at the grocery store. It's amazing. I had hothouse tomatoes this winter that were absolutely the best. And let me tell you, the winter market, you get a good variety of food and they deliver it right to your door.
In a little over 6 weeks, we'll be in the midst of the state election, and we're looking at some of the candidates and issues you can expect to see on the ballot. Republican nominee for Attorney General Jay McMahon is making his second run at that office. He was unsuccessful in challenging incumbent Maura Healey in 2018. Attorney McMahon says even though he possesses strong conservative values, if elected in heavily Democratic Massachusetts, he will make sure he leads based solely on the rule of law.
I'm not coming to Beacon Hill to be divisive. I'm coming to Beacon Hill to be effective. When I take the oath of office as Attorney General, the oath that I'm going to be taking, and I take seriously, will be to uphold the laws of and the Constitution and of the United States and the laws thereunder, and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the laws thereunder. And so I will do that. If there's a challenge to Massachusetts laws, a constitutional challenge, in some cases I might be making the challenge. My office may be making the challenge. In other instances, other forces are making the challenge, and I will defend those.
Attorney McMahon says his Democratic challenger, former Boston City Councilor Andrea Campbell, subscribes to a liberal agenda that includes plans to defund local police.
That alone has to raise alarm bells, especially in southeastern Massachusetts, and especially in the cities like Taunton, like New Bedford, like Fall River, and those areas. Can you imagine what defunding the police is going to look like? It's going to, these liberal elitists never take us to the second step. For instance, when you call 911, you want to know that somebody is on the phone picking up and that they're dispatching police cruisers to wherever your emergency is. But if we talk about and actually do defund the police, we're talking about cutting something. So when we cut it, what are we cutting? Their overtime budget? Are we going to cut their staffing? How about their civilian employees, the people who answer the phone, the dispatchers, or their resources in order to investigate crime? And the whole point is they want to punish the police.
Attorney McMahon has strong opinions concerning migrants seeking asylum in the United States. He feels the recent transport of Venezuelan migrants to Martha's Vineyard is not in itself an issue, but what is of extreme importance is the inaction by the federal government to develop reasonable immigration policy.
I'm not against legal immigration, but when they come across the border, they're not processed, they're not checked. We don't know what kind of third world diseases they may be coming in here and bringing amongst the rest of us. We don't know their criminal background if they have one. We don't know what they're carrying or what they could be trafficking in. This stuff is all serious business. I'm running for the top law enforcement position in Massachusetts. So my position has to be law and order, and my position is these migrants have to be processed just as if they came through a legal point of entry. As far as Governor Abbott of Texas and Governor DeSantis in Florida, I wish they wouldn't do that because it's clearly a political stunt.
Attorney McMahon says he will be aggressive in clamping down on government corruption and be responsive to citizen complaints, including those of suspected election fraud.
I've had people tell me some issues that have been that have happened in their towns. Some of them have been election wardens, and what they've said to me are election workers, and then what they've said to me was they've seen things go on. Now, I suggested to them that they call the Secretary of the Commonwealth, Bill Galvin, or that they call Maura Healey's office and report this, because it's important that it at least gets on record. I'm told, as far as these people who are doing it, that nothing has been followed up on. What I would do is I would act on every bit of information I get. We will follow up on every lead. If it becomes cold or if there's nothing there, we will tell the person who reported it and let them know we followed up on their lead. We didn't find anything. But if they come up with something else, we'll shake that down.
State Senator Diana DiZoglio, the Democratic nominee for state auditor, says she wants to remove the label of Massachusetts having the least transparent state government. As she runs for election, Senator DiZoglio says, as auditor, she will focus on ensuring all state funds are spent responsibly and fairly. Having grown up in the gateway city of Lawrence, she wants to ensure that her city and ones like Fall River are not left behind.
We're a community that struggles to get regional equity and to be treated fairly by our state government in terms of resources and policies that help the average working family in our community. And when I've spoken to your state delegation in Fall River that I've been working with for years now, we have oftentimes partnered on making sure that there is regional equity and that our communities who are often disenfranchised and not treated as respectfully as they should be are actually getting the access that they deserve. So I'm going to take that with me, that experience, that focus it for the last 10 years, going line by line in that state budget with me to the state auditor's office and use the work that I've been doing alongside of your state officials there locally to the next level in the auditor's office to make sure that communities like Fall River, like New Bedford, like Taunton, the surrounding areas have the voice that they deserve.
Senator DiZoglio says she has been the most independent voice in the legislature and, if elected, will not shy away from looking at ways the body can be run in the best interests of the people of the Commonwealth.
I'm the only candidate in this race who has said that I will be conducting an audit of the state legislature. You talked about transparency and accountability. The legislature is not subject to the public records laws. Our committee votes are not made public, so folks don't always know how we as legislators have voted on particular issues. Taxpayer funded by all of you, non-disclosure agreements continue to be able to be abused to silence government workers about potential abuse, harassment, and discrimination. And power is centralized into the hands of a few. I will be a state auditor that goes in and in the first days in office, begins the process of auditing the state legislature and making sure that our legislative branch is held accountable. And that is how I will seek to increase transparency and accountability up on Beacon Hill on day one.
As part of her plan to conduct performance audits of state government, Senator DiZoglio will examine how state-issued contracts can be awarded to more minority businesses across the state.
Right now in Massachusetts, only 0.005% has been identified in our state contracts as going out to minority businesses. Now, billions of dollars are spent in state contracts on an annual basis. Billions in our state tax dollars are going out to these contracts through state government. And yes, you are right. There's a Democratic-controlled legislature, and most folks up on Beacon Hill are registered Democrats, but yet still we are lacking in these DEI goals that we hear pontificated about very often up on Beacon Hill. It's unfortunate that even though diversity, equity, and inclusion are mentioned quite often up on Beacon Hill, our state contracts reflect the exact opposite.
Senator DiZoglio is also looking to tie her work into promoting climate change initiatives in Massachusetts.
As your next state auditor, look, I will get to audit the Department of Public Utilities, for example, and make sure that the administration is actually implementing the laws that we voted on. For example, we voted on the Next Generation Climate Roadmap to make sure that we're meeting our climate goals. As a state auditor, I'll be able to audit the administration to make sure that those things we voted for are actually being followed through on.
You can view our complete interviews with the candidates on our special Election 22 page on our website, FRCMedia.org. We'll have more FRC Media news right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Store Manager. Family Dollar, located at 4171 North Main Street, is looking for a full-time store manager to manage the operations of the retail store and perform all opening and closing procedures. Job number 175-74856. Accounting Assistant. Family Service Association, located at 101 Rock Street, is urgently looking for a full-time accounting assistant, responsible for assisting the accounting department with daily functions, including analysis and monthly and annual reporting. Job number 175-70261. Case Manager. Stepping Stone Incorporated, located at 542 North Main Street, is seeking a full-time case manager, responsible for assessing treatment needs, developing, monitoring, and evaluating treatment plans and progress. Job number 175-56970. Cashier Sales Associate. Rocky's Ace Hardware, located at 1702 President Avenue, is looking for a part-time cashier sales associate. For more information, call 508-673-9433. Lifestream Incorporated, located at 1 Father DeValles Boulevard, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Direct Care Support. Job number 175-77811. Female CNA. Job number 175-77830. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The Fall River War Veterans Council last Friday held a ceremony in commemoration of National POWMIA Recognition Day. The event was to remember the over 80,000 U.S. soldiers who remain unaccounted for in all wars. Fall River War Veterans Council Senior Vice Commander Bill Damaris read remarks on behalf of Commander Robert Guinan.
That as Americans, we will never forget our prisoners of war or our missing in action. It also sends a message to the families of our POWs and MIAs, as well as to the families of those killed in action. There is no ceremony or words that will ever relieve these families of their loss and pain, or the guilt some of us, as Vietnam veterans and World War II veterans, feel because we made it home alive. This ceremony here in Government Center renews our pledge and our promise to always remember and never forget our comrades in arms who did not return home with us. As veterans, we promise to honor and keep alive the memory of our POWs and MIAs and the sacrifice of their families, and we ask you to join us in this mission.
The keynote address was delivered by Richard Fitz Jr., who lost his father, Sergeant Richard Fitz, during the Vietnam War when he was only 2 years old. He never knew his father, who remained missing for over 20 years.
Then came that day of spring '89. Out of the blue, I would be blindsided by a simple phone call. At the other end, I would hear the 4 words that literally took me out of my knees. We found your father. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, indeed. It would take a total of 21 years and 41 days from that fateful day, November 1968, that my father's remains would be laid to rest on a brutally cold day, January 13th, 1990, in Abington, Massachusetts. Finally home. Imagine after years of not knowing who my father was or what truly happened, this long-haired 80s rock and roll guitar player has an emotional abundance of overload, meeting hundreds of people, if not more, literally tossed in the middle of hype and media attention, White House and political dignitaries, Pentagon officials surrounded by a sea of Green Berets. Quite an introduction to this elite world.
The focus of the Greater Fall River Art Association has evolved since it first began showcasing art in the city back in May of 1957. Back then, according to Executive Director Dana Barnes, art exhibits were held a few times a year at various outposts across Fall River. The organization began to expand its reach when it purchased its Victorian headquarters at 80 Belmont Street in 1969.
Their goal was to not have to be carrying art outside the building, but have it be in here. And it expanded their abilities to incorporate things like sculpture and things like fine craft with jewelry and pottery making and things like that. So it started out as people with painting and drawing and traditional art. And we've come full circle now. We're including things like photography and video and music, trying to incorporate all of the arts here in the building in this day and age, and exploring uses of computer assisted art, and offering lots of classes in all of these kinds of new and progressive art forms. And we're excited to be doing that.
Ms. Barnes says every art show at the gallery is meant to be enjoyed by the community, but is also a market for local buyers. She says the organization has made a concerted effort to make art affordable for all.
In all honesty, it started out as the wealthy people in the city, because that's who could afford to buy art. It's still sometimes some of the pieces that we do get in here are very pricey. But we have also branched out so that we're making art affordable for everyone. You know, you don't have to make 6 figures. One of the things that I also know is that the people who are buying art now are the millennial folks. You know, folks my age and a little older, we've already bought lots of art, and now we're trying to figure out how to sort of downsize from all of that. But the millennial folks, they're the ones who are out there buying art right now. So we are evolving to incorporate the things that they like. This city is a multicultural city, so we're looking to evolve some more cultural kinds of art into this building.
The organization is hosting a 65th anniversary gala on Saturday to celebrate its achievements. Ms. Barnes says as the organization moves forward, it will remain committed to promoting and ensuring that everyone in Fall River has the opportunity to be exposed to and produce local art.
You can walk in the door and it doesn't cost you a dime. Everything in this gallery is free. You come in and you can come in and walk around. You don't have to spend any money. Come in, sit down on a bench, and just be moved by the art that's on the walls. We offer scholarship programs for those who really, really want to come in and do art. I think to really impact this community as much as we want to, and we have a great desire to impact this community, I think we need to be out there meeting people where they are, offering art programs out in this community a whole lot more. Partnering with people who are doing some amazing work out there, and I think that's part of how we get art to the populace, being out there with people.
We'll wrap up this edition of FRC Media News right after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today with us we have Louie. He is roughly 4 years old. He is a male. He originally came to us as a stray. He is a nervous little man, so he would do better in a quieter home. He is very lovable. Even when he is scared, he'll just put his head down. He is a big boy. He's 14 pounds, but he is a lap cat. I would say he would probably do better in a home without kids, only because he is nervous, and to make him more comfortable, I think he would probably do better with no kids or maybe teenagers, somebody that can respect his space. You want to come down and meet Louie, you can give us a call at Forever Paws Animal Shelter and schedule an appointment to come meet him. And if you don't have an application on file, right on the website you can actually fill one out. I know he would love to meet you, so don't hesitate to call and come meet him. Today with us we have Padme. She is a female, roughly 2.5 years old. She was an owner surrender. It was no fault of her own, they just wanted to give her a better chance. She is very sweet. She hasn't been here at the shelter long, but automatically, if she doesn't even know you, she'll try to jump on you and give you kisses. She's very, very outgoing and sweet. She is a Shibu Ibu mix. I'm not too sure what the other mix is. I'm sure it's some kind of terrier. For kids, we do have her for kids 12 and up, mainly because we don't have a background history on her with kids. She is very sweet, but we don't want her with younger kids just in case. She's pretty easygoing. She does love to play. She does like to go for walks, but at the same time, she can be a little TV buddy. She'll crawl up on your lap and watch TV with you. But she knows sit very well. Padme, sit. Please give us a call, because I know Padme would love to meet you. So come down and meet her.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website at frmedia.org for all the latest local news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday.